Welcome to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast, where we are focused on helping women to be inspired and live their most amazing life every single day. And I will tell you, my guest today does that. I'm so excited. My guest today is Gabriella Ribeiro. Hi, Gabriella.
How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. And the reason I say she does this, I'm going to give you her bio here and you'll see why. Gabriella is a single mom, a serial entrepreneur, running 3 businesses currently. Yes, you heard me. She's a wanderer, a frequent world traveler, an author, a daughter, and a friend. She is the owner and editor-in-chief of the Mogul Mom. Welcome, Gabriella. Oh, wow.
I appreciate it. No, it's good to be with you.
Yes, this is going to be so exciting because I get to pick your brain and live vicariously through you. You're a world traveler. Oh, wow. Okay, before I get into all that, let me hear your story. I really want to know what has brought Gabriella to this journey.
Sure. I mean, I grew up with an entrepreneurial father, so I had kind of a front row seat there to all of the good stuff and the rough stuff that comes along with that. And it was really nice to just live a very different life, a different childhood, where we could take advantage of opportunities. My dad was in travel too. And it was just nice to see him. He was a man that never went to college, but was naturally just smart and, gifted with, an entrepreneurial spirit. So I learned a lot, and then I purposely put myself in a corporate job, after college to just see, and it totally knew it wasn't for me. But it was good I sort of called it like a boot camp, to sort of know everything that I didn't know already, and then feel the confidence to go out on my own. So after a couple of years with the corporate office, I, had an opportunity to sort of, spread my wings and fly. And I figured, it's okay. Let me just give it a try. You know what I mean? I'll sort all of this stuff out, and it could be great. So let me, I'm still young enough that if it doesn't work out, it's not a problem. And, I took a chance with someone who took a chance on me, and hired me out from under my other job. Okay. And it just started from there. It became quite addictive because I really loved managing my own time. I'm very, I'm more of the type of person that you have to stop, like I kind of tell to take a pause, so I found myself working a lot, but really building and saying, well, if I have one client, I probably could do it for 2, or I could probably do it for 3, and 3 became 5 and whatever it was. So it, that business started to build. And then as I moved forward, I realized what I could manage and also how to hire, the right people, and the right team to be able to help me grow. So that's kind of the short version of where I am at the moment.
Wow. And it sounds like it's you gave us so much there. You did so many things to me. There's not a right or wrong, but if I had to say, you did so many things right. I mean, you went out on your own and you got the corporate job and you really tested it out. There's so many, I wrote a blog just recently about reinventing yourself, and that we're the sum total of all those skills and abilities that we have. So you went out and I'm sure you learned a lot of things in that corporate experience to, like you said, grow into your own, to have your own confidence and be able to do this. So now you currently, like you said, you manage 3 businesses. Tell us a little about each of those businesses.
Sure. My core business is I have a company that does sales and marketing for tourism related clients. So mostly everything I do is related to travel. But the beauty, and kind of to your point of entrepreneurship, is you can take things that exist and build upon them and create new things because it's all under your control. So I did that for a while, and I'm still doing that, fortunately, and I love it. But people, because I grew up in travel and I always am somewhere, people were always asking me my opinions on things and where you should go and what restaurant to eat at and all of that stuff. And, I was sort of dishing it for free. And I said, I could monetize this. So I turned that into a business where I plan not the typical experiences, but crazy travel experiences that really have you immersing in a destination, picking up the soul of it, of its people, and, really going out and doing kind of things that are out of your comfort zone. So I built that. And that's been super fun because I love it. it's something that comes naturally. And I think that's part of entrepreneurship, is find what doesn't feel like work and figure out a way to make money from it.
Yeah.
And then about 2 years ago now, I took over the Mogul Mom, which is a dynamic community of global mompreneurs, for lack of a better term, just women trying to raise a family and run a business. And that's been a really different journey for me, because it's an audience that I sort of moved into and I've helped build now, from there on in. And it's a really lovely, I would say, tribe of women that need support in a lot of ways. It's not just a business group, but it's more like, hey, I gave my kid a Pop-Tart this morning. I feel like a bad mom, help me out kind of thing. And it's been really nice to be able to offer support for women who are just kind of like me, just trying to get, done every single day and make it happen. And especially with a kid involved, put that all together and balance it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, yeah. I know how that is in travel. Whenever me and my girlfriends wanted to go somewhere to travel, we never wanted to do the normal thing. We wanted to hang out with the locals and just really enjoy the culture of of wherever we were going, the country. And so we would have to visit it a few times, actually, to make friends and get cozy enough with people that we could actually have the locals, trust the locals in a way that would give us that deeper experience. So yeah, that's really nice. I wish we had that service back then where someone could help us with that. That's really nice. And yes, I checked out the Mogul Mom, loved it. Oh wow, just you're really doing a lot of amazing things, making huge impacts. Now, is there secret sauce to what you're doing? I know you're a mom and you are running businesses, you're doing your own thing. Is there a secret sauce to it?
I think it's finding what works for you. I don't think there's any direction that one can give. People say, okay, work for 1 hour, take a break, stand up, and like it doesn't work like that. I think it's just you have to do you, and it's as simple as that. What do I like to do? I like to get up really early because I like to. Most of my clients are on the other side of the world, so I like to have quiet time, have my coffee, do what I need to do, check emails, all of that. And some people say, well, you should be getting more sleep. Well, this just works for me. So thank you very much, but I'm going to stick with it. And I think just finding out how you can work. Where do you work best? Some people need to go to a coffee shop instead of an office. I'm good in my house. If there are days, aside from like things I have to do to my daughter, if I don't have to leave my house, that's a good day because that means I got a lot more done at home.
Yes,
so
yes.
What works for you and realizing there's no shame in any game. If you want to work in your underwear all day, that's fine as long as you're working. So I think, it just comes to the core of harnessing where you perform best and how you perform best. Are you a morning person? Are you a night owl? And then leaning into that, instead of trying to be in a box of saying, well, I'm going to stop at 3 o'clock or I'm going to stop at 5 o'clock. It doesn't always work like that. So I think you have to be able to go with the flow if you're going to run a business.
I think that's really, really good advice. And I hope that my audience is really hearing you, because what happens is people are so overloaded with information. They look around for the best way to do this and the best way to do that. And you make such a good point by just saying it's really knowing yourself. It's really knowing what makes you happy, what works well for you. There is no one size fits all. So I like that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's important. Now, what is the most joyful thing about your businesses, Gabriella? If you could think about it and say, the thing that brings me the most joy, what is it?
It's two things. It's the freedom to be creative, and kind of, having visions and being able to execute them quickly without a lot of red tape, is a really enjoyable high for me. And also just the relationships you build in this business and getting to work with amazing clients, and also getting a say in that. I think when you're starting out, you're like, I'll take anything, just to make the ends meet. And we've sort of evolved to a place where we can be discerning about who we want to work with now too. And that's really refreshing. And that means we get a really, really good, crop of clients that make more sense for the things we want to do. They have bigger visions. They are more, amenable to ideas and teamwork and all of that. So that's been refreshing. That's been fun.
Yes, I bet it is that you're right. A lot of times when people are starting out, they will take almost, and trust me, I've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it does feel good when you're able to say, no, I don't think we're a good fit. So that that's really nice. Wow. Um, in the information that you gave me for the podcast, you mentioned something about multitasking. And, you know, a lot of times people will say that multitasking is bad, that being unfocused that way weakens your productivity. You have 3 businesses. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it goes back to how you work best. If you were to look at my computer right now, you'd probably get dizzy because there are 55,000 windows open. I use these 2 fingers all day and I toggle back and forth. I use the Alt Tab keys and I move screens all day long.
Wow.
And that for me works. And like people always say, and sometimes clients say to me, well, you know, how do I know you're getting my work done? You know, when are you doing my stuff? There is no answer. My answer is it getting done? Is it getting done well and on time? Then there you go. It doesn't matter if I did it at 2 a.m. It really doesn't.
Right.
So I think like, again, knowing how you work and how you perform best. I don't believe that you can put yourself in a box and say, okay, 15 minutes, I'm going to write this, you know, this email. And then 10 minutes, I'm going to design this graphic. And some people are programmed like that, and that is great. And some people thrive. I don't. I thrive in the chaos of every day, and that's also why I do what I do for a living. So many different things, because I like variety. Like when I eat dinner, you probably laugh at me because I need 5 different things in front of me to pick on. I cannot just have one dish. It's just not
Wow.
like you know, I won't eat all of them, but I have to have a variety. And it's just kind of the way I'm built. So you know, everything gets done. It gets done, you know, to the best of my ability, but there's no timeline except for the end of the month when I have to deliver reports at a certain date. Then that's my lockdown time. That's the time, like, don't call me, don't email, you know, I'm just doing this today. But that's probably the only day of the month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything else is just generally, you know, let's dive into the day kind of thing. And what I do, I still have an old school to-do list. That is by my side every day. I take pen and paper and I actually write down what I need to do, because for me, it's thrilling to be able to physically cross it off.
And you know, you mentioned that, and so I recently found something that worked for me recently electronically to be able to do my brain dumps in and everything. But it's funny, it's almost like every 3rd day I go back to writing a list and crossing it off.
There's a power in a list.
Yes, it is. It's so funny. You know, it's really good to hear that it's almost like a lot of women in business don't give themselves permission to just be and do whatever it is that feels right for them. So it sounds like in these businesses, you have found yourself, for a lack of a better way of saying that, in that you have allowed yourself to just be totally free and do you. And I love that. Oh, I so love that. I so love that. So many women feel they have to follow a prescription or something. Not sure. Now, what is the art of just doing it? What does that mean for you and your business? Tell us all about that.
I think it's more my life motto, but it applies to business too. I think that I see so many people with great ideas and great intentions and all of these things that they want to do, and they get held back. And it could be fear. It could be, you know, like just being terrified of failure. I mean, all of that stuff is normal, and that stuff is really healthy. But pushing past it is how you get things done. And I see people, and I use this example all the time, people that want to write books, and they say, okay, great. Did you type anything? Do you have a sentence? Do you have no, I haven't done that. Well, how is the book going to get done? You know, it's taking action every single day. And I think the art of just doing it also relates to giving yourself manageable and reasonable expectations.
Yes.
I've learned to distill my expectations to about 0. So just, you know, all around, so that, you know, you don't have disappointments. But I think it's like going on a diet. You can't wake up one day and say, I want to lose 40 pounds by Friday. It doesn't work, you know. But if you say, okay, if I'm at the end of the week, if I'm at least even or down 1 pound, that's a win, you know? So I think like I see people obsessing over, you know, their websites and they don't want to launch it because they're afraid the logo isn't placed right, you know, and they'll lose
Yeah.
6 months on that. Or they want to write a book, but they haven't put together anything in 5 years, you know, not even a sentence. And that kind of stuff, if you don't do it now, it's like, if not now, then when is it going to happen? Because there's never a good time, never a good time to have a child. There's never a good time. Like, it just happens and we go with it and we adapt.
Yeah.
Nobody has a rule book. So I think, you know, my motto is, okay, what is the worst that can happen? You launch a website and somebody doesn't like the design, big deal. It's up. And is it functioning? And is it getting you business? Is it getting you leads? You know, try something. Nothing can ever break that badly. As long as you're not gambling your life savings away, nothing really can break that badly that you can't fix it. So I think having that attitude and saying, all right, if I launch this program, I launch a course and it doesn't sell, not a big deal. You know what? Take it offline and start again. So
Yeah. And it is through, you know, you're so right. Just do it. It is through the doing it that you figure out, all right, this is not what they want. This is not working. So now I got to tweak some things, but it doesn't mean it's a total failure. And
no, that's great information. I mean, like, that's sometimes it's really good for things not to work because you're like, okay, I went down the wrong path on that. That's not what so-and-so needed to hear to approve this project, or that's not what the, you know, this so-and-so audience needed to hear in order to purchase something. So, you know, I think you learn a lot by those things too. And also, you know, you're not going to make $1 million overnight when you
yes,
put something out, and, you know, or when you launch a business, or even in the first year. A lot of people do that and then they give up and they're like, this just didn't work. I didn't make all this money. It takes time. It takes expenditures. You know, it takes your blood, sweat, and tears, all of that. And I think we get enchanted by these stories we see on Facebook of, oh, I've had a success. I've had a, you know, 7-figure business since I did, you know,
yes.
well, that may be, but that's not everybody.
Yes, that drives me crazy actually, because, you know, so many people are looking around on social media and seeing this and they're like, you know, I've talked to women who have said, I don't have a business idea. I want to start a business, and in 5 months I want to quit my job. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen.
I mean, it's nice to have a goal, but we just don't know. So I say, do the best you can. Start the business. How about start it?
Yes. How about
instead of talk about it and then see where you are?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because if you have that with the expectation in mind that it's got to be 5 months or nothing, guess what? It's probably going to be 5 months and you won't be able to quit your job yet. And then, you know, you would have given up. So you have to put, I think, reasonable expectations on things. You know, and that's anything. I always use the weight loss example because that's my whole life, you know, and if you do that, you're going to be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. So I love that. I love that concept, the art of just doing it, do it, you know? And so you've written a book.
Yeah.
Oh.
All about just gathering tips. And it goes back to things I learned from my dad that are still really relevant today. You know, just kind of watching him, and it's everything from simple tips like basics, like call people back. You know, I mean, how annoying is that? We can't get someone on the phone, or you just don't give someone the respect of an answer. It goes down to simple things like that, all the way up to things that have happened to me, mistakes I made, advice on learning how to manage cash flow, which is a huge thing, which I did not do well when I started my business. And that was one of the things. You have to know all of this stuff. It's not rocket science. It's just stuff I've been through. You know, and really kind of all pointing to the fact that all of this makes sense. And if you get all this under control, you just have to do it and do these things, you know, at the same time. And it's not a procedural kind of book, you know, because again, I don't believe in that, but it's more conceptual, you know. So, you know, there are some basics that you have to master. You know, there is when you want to run a business, you have to know how to manage people, how to deal with situations, again, the cash flow is huge because you're not going to get paid on time. I don't care who you are, you're never getting paid on time if you're running your own business. And those kind of things, you know, you have to understand how to manage. And then just, you know, just basics of going the extra mile without having to spend a fortune. Sending a thank you card, sending a handwritten note, all of these things that we forget. Picking up the phone is a big thing. We forget that. You know, I can't stand when people that work with me say, like, I haven't got an answer yet. I haven't gotten it. Well, did you call? Did you get them on the phone?
Right.
How do you know? And most of the time when you do call, you get that answer for, you know, it's 2 seconds long, you're done and you're moved on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sometimes what's old becomes new again and becomes easier to utilize every day.
That I love that. That's very true. What is old becomes new again. We're because and it sounds like it's a very practical book, and I love practicality. Um, what happens is, I think we think that we should have these new ideas, these new we should be reinventing things all the time, but it's not really the case. I mean, we're not really inventing anything new. Gabriella, all of the things that you and I have talked about here are age old, you know but
And easy to forget because we get busy.
that's right. That's what it is. People forget. And so they really need, that's why reading those types of books are so important, because it reminds you, it keeps you in the flow of things. So it'll be top of mind. So I really like that. Very nice. I will check that out and maybe even run a contest on it next week, I believe.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So tell us a little bit more about your travel experiences. I used to be a big traveler, but not anymore. I've gotten older and kind of settled in my ways, so I don't travel as much. So tell us about your travel experiences.
Sure. I mean, I travel a lot. Mostly it's like the impetus is work, for in some way. I travel a lot just for my main business because it requires a lot of face-to-face, a lot of attending events. But in my travel planning business, I'm constantly out there because I take advantage of opportunities. It's a nice benefit. I mean, I won't become a billionaire selling travel, but the perks are so enriching, and being able to take advantage of an offer or an invitation is something I frequently do. So I just schedule it around my life. Like I'm a divorced woman, so I have my daughter most of the time, but the times I don't, and if I can get on a plane and go, that's what I do. And that really helped me get back to myself after going through a divorce.
Nice.
Successfully. And I think what happens for me is I really take time to just sit, which is not like me. I mean, I'm always running, but sometimes I'll just sit and observe life. And okay, how does this cafe owner deal with his customers? And why is he so, like, how can he be so nice and giving? How does he have the time? Or, just observing people doing business elsewhere down to how someone behaves, behind the stall at a market. And that customer interaction experience, it teaches me something. So I think for me, being away helps me sort of refresh my ideas. I always write a lot when I'm gone, or I'll come up, back with something new, but also to just observe how things are done elsewhere and then bring them back and think about how I could do them better, in my own life.
Oh, ladies, that was a golden nugget from Gabriella there. Just being able to observe, being in the moment wherever you are, just being able to observe how other people are doing their businesses and running things and learning from it. I think that's awesome.
Or also how people are enjoying themselves. Cause it's funny, we're always rushing and then like you can go out to dinner. I was in Italy, I don't know, at the end of August and just sitting there eating by myself, but watching, two people sit there. Cause I sat for quite a long time having a 2-3 hour dinner.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Or a 2-3 hour lunch. And they had business clothes on. So I'm like, obviously they're working, but this was just okay. And it's just nice to see people, in a different mode and seeing that the world is not falling apart because of that. They're enjoying and they're getting their work done and we all can do the same thing. So I think sometimes you need that little, that little ping to bring you back.
Really, really nice. Now, like you said, you do experiences, you do plan travel experiences for others. How do people get to know where these experiences are, or do they contact you directly? How does that operate?
They usually connect with me directly. I work a lot on just people referring me. I don't really do a lot of advertising or anything like that. It's kind of grown from word of mouth, which is fine for me because that means it's a nice, relatively trustworthy circle.
Yeah.
And it's funny because most people that contact me have no idea where they want to go. So I work more on the psychology of it. It's like, what's happening in your life? Do you, are you going with the girls? Or are you going with a guy? Is this a honeymoon? Is this, all right, do you want to quit smoking? You want to go on a diet? Like, what is your objective? You want to go bungee jumping. I have to know what you want to do in order to think about what place might be good for you. So it actually works based on more like personality and goals first. and just chatting. Like I was talking to a honeymoon couple the other day, and they had all of these ideas, and then I sort of listened to what they actually wanted to do, and the places they're thinking had nothing to do with it. And they would have been very disappointed because it was not what they were looking for, so we had to have that conversation, and and they wound up booking something that is completely out of their comfort zone, but something I know that they're going to love, so, and it ticks all the boxes. So I think getting, just taking the time, and I think, to know the customer, and I do a lot of phone work when travel planning is involved. And again, getting away from that email all the time and getting on the phone with somebody, hearing their voice, hearing them, like when you recommend something and hearing a hesitation also tells you something, like, oh no, they're not going to like this. You know what I mean? Like they're not on board. And you need that info in order to give them something that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, I so love that. It's, it's, anyone can call a travel agent and say, I want to go to Brazil. But to really understand when you're planning a big trip, to get everything that you're really expecting for that trip. I love this service. Oh, wow. I have to keep this.
It's just, what is for you and what's not, like I've had people, actually Brazil is a good example, because I want this and I want that, and I want to just feel free to walk around by myself. And yes. Well, then you don't want to go to Rio. No disrespect. I love Rio, but that's not going to be where you want to be, like,
yeah.
So knowing that those kind of ins and outs, is essential, especially when traveling solo, and I deal with a lot of solo travelers.
Oh, wow. Yes. All right. So I got to keep that in mind, add you to my resource list. So when I hear people talking about things like that, I can say, check out this person, check out Gabriella. She will be able to help you and be able to help you decide, because you're right. You just don't know. And it would be awful to get there and feel like, oh my God, I've wasted my time and my money. And now I'm here and this is not what I expected. So right. That's an awesome stuff. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, we are always trying to be in the flow of our passion and our purpose and doing the things that really light us up. So, Gabriella, would you say that everything that you're doing, you're passionate about, that you're walking your purpose and it lights you up every day?
I am. I'm really very, very happy and excited to work every day. Even on the weekends, I've had, like, people say, oh, you shouldn't check in. It's like, my stress is not being connected. And, to know that I am connected is 100% fine with me. And I may not have to action something, but just as long as I know what's going on is good. But I really am doing a lot of what I love. And that doesn't mean that I won't do other things, because I will. There's other things I love and I want to pursue. So that never ends. But yeah, at this moment, I do really enjoy what I get to do every day.
That's nice. That's very, very nice. And that's
there are things that come along with it that I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
All of that will exist, and there are ups and downs every day. But at the same time, it's yes, the essentials make me happy.
Yes, overall, yeah. There will always be the things that, like for me, social media is not one of the things that I enjoy a whole lot. And so, but I have to do it. So it's a part of it. It's a part of it all. So yeah. Absolutely. I love to hear that, though, that you're really, truly living your passion. And you love working with women. What is it that you love about, you bought the Mogul Mom. What is it that you love about collaborating with women?
I love seeing people thrive and launch their ideas. And I think what happens, especially with moms, the reason why I love collaborating with moms is because, maybe a generality, but I think it's more true than not true. Moms tend to forget themselves.
Yes.
And that's what I can't stand to see happen. We enter into this, agreement, we have children, and we become their everything, because that's what we are supposed to do. Number one, that's what we're really good at. We do that. And the children need us, but that does not mean that you are not still a human being. A woman who counts, a woman who has goals and dreams. That stuff should not end. And I see so many people walking away and saying, well, God, I wish I could get back in the workforce, or I wish I could do this, or, always like, I wish, right. Whereas they might have thought that it was living the dream to stay home and not work outside of the house. Maybe it's not. So I think for me, the really inspiring thing is getting, and it's not me, it's a community that raises each other up. I just happen to be there, and write some newsletters and tell my stories. But mostly it's the members helping each other and seeing them be able to say, God, I dropped out and I raised my child, but now like there's nothing left for me. And look at what I just did. That is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That makes the best kind of, of scenario to celebrate.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes. I'm so there with you. I feel that. I feel, I just love what happens because you made a huge impact in their lives, which in turn makes an impact on their families.
Yeah. A happier mom is a happier, everything, is a better mom.
Yeah.
A better friend, a better partner. If you're doing what you're doing and you're thriving, and if your family understands why you're doing what you're doing, that is a huge part of it too. Not just disappearing into an office and saying, I have to do this for the next hour. Show your children what you're doing.
That's
and
right.
why you're doing it and what the benefit is if it works out. You know what I mean? And then I think that they're more likely to understand and get on board with it.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Gabriella, you have her website is the mogulmom.com, right?
The mogulmom.com.
And I will place all of her website information as well as all of her social media on my podcast page for you to be able to access. In addition, she has a free gift for you, and it's her Getting Started course, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. It's a course that we built to help women, go from women who have dropped out of the workforce to get back into business on their own terms. So, it's not a step-by-step, this is how you launch a business. It's all of the things you should think about when considering launching a business, and it addresses wellness, self-care, things like that, in addition to legal stuff, registering, the right way and that kind of stuff. So it's a compilation of ideas and a pathway to follow at your own.
Yeah. So that's a really, really good resource for women, even for women who have started already. Because a lot of times, I know when I started my business and I didn't have a lot of things in place. I just kind of
change. Things are always fluid. So I think, especially when you have a family,
yes.
I think it's sometimes a good guidebook to keep by your side and, refer to it when you have to.
Yeah. So definitely pick that up. I will have a link on my site as well that links to her page and tell you exactly where to find that. I think it'll be a great resource. Now, Gabriella, I know you have been to a lot of countries. About how many?
Oh gosh, 122, I think, or something.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have to do a recount, but I'm hovering around there. Yeah, it's been a lot. Yeah.
That's what makes you, though, such a great resource for being able to say, you can do this in this country. Here's what really matches up to what you want to do. Because a lot of times, when you are dealing with like travel agents and travel companies, the person you're talking to hasn't been to hardly any countries. And so I think this is what makes this such a good fit for you to be, you've traveled to all these countries so you can speak to it truthfully and authentically. And I like that.
Yeah, again, it was all working backwards. Like that wasn't the goal. It was like, that was just part of life. And I think you have to look and see what do you normally do that you like, that you can figure out how to make a business. If you're awesome at making cookies, figure out how to market those cookies if everybody loves them. You know what I mean? It's like the passion is there and you know how to do it already. It's not like you have to start from scratch with an idea. Look inside and see what what you're really awesome at.
Yes, I totally agree. Like I said, I just wrote a blog post on that. You've got all these skills and abilities. So yeah, it only makes sense,
Yeah.
It only makes sense. So one of your favorite quotes, is keep calm and carry on. Now I can see why, because you are one cool lady.
I have my moments. That came from the way I think I used to be. I'm that way only with, I would say, two things. Now I'll go into an immediate panic if I think I've lost my phone or my passport or my kid. which thank God really rarely happens. But if it's like the phone or the password, I'll go from 0 to 500 miles an hour, freaking out and just absolutely horrible. But I used to worry about so many things, you know, like things that might happen, things that did happen that, you know, like, okay, everything's going to just fall apart because this happened. And it was kind of like a fatalistic attitude. And many years ago, and I've worked on it, but if you just breathe and know that most of the time there's a solution to every problem. You just have to find it. You know, that's the panic, is finding it. You know what I mean? It's there. Like something happened on Friday. My entire email system crashed. It was, you know, almost 200,000 emails over the course of 5 years that have been neatly filed just got thrown in one pile. And I'm like, okay, they all exist. I don't need to have a meltdown. I can search for them and I can find them, you know? So it's that, you know, keep calm, and you know, the world is not going to, and even if I did lose them, guess what? Someone else has copies of them or something, you know, and it'll be okay. And I'm not going to lose my business over it. It'll be fine. So you have to just, you know, breathe and figure out how to fix it. That's your panic moment, is how to, you know, what's the fix going to be?
Right. And you're so right. That has been a process for me over the years, Gabriella. I mean, I would just go from 0 to 500 and then I would stay there. But now,
and that's not good for anybody. That's not good for you. That's not good for anybody around you. And it, you know, just energetically, what happens is when you start doing that, more bad things happen to you. Like, you know, like you'll be like so panicked, and then you'll like fall off the curb when you're walking on the street. You know what I mean? Because you're busy thinking about this, and it's just like one thing happens after another. So if you just isolate it and say, okay, this sucks, I'm gonna fix it, and then we're gonna move on. You know, and it may not be perfect, but I'm gonna put a Band-Aid on it until, you know, just so I can move on.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that. It's working on yourself and coming to a better perspective. Yes, I love it. Gabriella, it has been so refreshing having you as a guest today. I mean, you've shared a lot of insights for my audience and women. I hope that you are hearing this, that, you know, your dreams are not beyond reach. But sometimes you just have to look inside and just look at what you're already doing and see where it fits. And I love that. Thank you for being a guest today. We're just about ready to wrap up. I've got one final question for you. If you will share with my audience one action tip that they can take away today and put in place, what would that be?
Aside from just doing it, which we covered, put in just a few moments every day of taking care of you. So that can be painting your nails. That can be going and getting a blowout. I don't know, a manicure. That could be just doing a meditation on your phone with your headphones. One little thing, and don't come back and tell me you don't have time. Everybody has a few minutes. And, you know, that's the biggest thing to people say, oh, I need to just, you know, I need to go away for a week in order to disconnect. No, you really don't. You know what I mean? I could disconnect with a meditation app on my phone, even in the middle of a bustling mall if I needed to, you know what I mean? So sometimes you just take a few minutes every single day. It's not selfish. It's actually really good for you, and do something for yourself.
There you have it. I think you're so right. You know, Gabriella, even a couple months ago, I would hear people say the meditation, do the meditation. I've been thinking about it for years, but I keep telling myself I can't quiet my mind enough to do it. And recently I heard someone say, they gave me this really good idea to do it by putting my legs up on the wall and laying on the floor. Like,
okay. Yeah, whatever works, you know?
And it worked. I was able to quiet my mind for a few minutes while I was doing that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels amazing. So you're right. The fact that people say they don't have time is not true. So
that's what it is. And they think it's got to be this entire block of time, which is great. If you can do it, wonderful. A lot of us can't. So just do something and push it a little bit forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for reminding us of that. And I appreciate having you. We will catch up again soon, and take care. Thank you for being here. Thank you, audience, for joining in to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives. Make sure to like, share, and comment, and share this with a woman that inspires you. Have a great day.